Hello, my name is NJ Franco, and these are my thoughts on the very secret society of irregular witches by Sangu Mandanna. Now, first off, not only does this book have a fair amount of foul language in it, so if you're offended by foul language, just please keep that in mind. But also, for the first time in one of my book reviews, I got to give a spice warning, okay? Because this book actually does have one spicy scene in it, or at least to what I understand a spicy scene to be. Okay, now at first, the book they talked about sex a fair amount, and they had like sexual innuendos here and there and whatnot. And while I was planning on telling my audience about that in my review, I don't really consider that to be spice. I don't think many people would. And then about three-quarters of the way through the book, two of the characters share a very passionate, very descriptive kiss. And again, while I would not consider that to be spice either, at least the way I understand of what spice being in books, I was planning on telling my audience about that as well, just in case they don't want to read that either. But then, like 3 or 4 chapters later, those same two characters have sex. Okay, very descriptive. It's not one of those where it's kind of like referenced or implied. Where then they went upstairs for a night of passionate lovemaking or whatever. No, no, no. It was drawn out and descriptive and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, that right there, that is definitely spice. So if you don't want to read spice, skip this book, or actually just skip chapter 26. I made a note of what chapter it was. So chapter 26, if you want to read this book but you don't want to read the spicy scene, just skip over chapter 26. There's really nothing that it doesn't really drive the plot forward either, other than these two characters had sex. That's all. So yeah, spice warning for the first time in one of my book reviews. There is a spice warning. All right, now that that's out of the way, the plot. So this book is about Mika Moon, who is a 31-year-old witch who likes to upload videos to social media where she pretends that she's a witch, despite the fact that she's also actually a witch. And she's convinced that nobody watching these videos actually believes she's actually a witch. That is until a man named Ian watches one of her videos and he's able to figure out that she actually is a witch. So he invites her to this place called Nowhere House, where he wants her to tutor these three other younger witches how to use their magic, okay? Because no one else living at Nowhere House knows how to use magic. None of them are witches or anything like that. So they hire this actual adult witch to live with them to train these three little girls on how to use their magic. And it's mostly because in a couple weeks after this point, a lawyer named Edward is going to be coming to the house, and they don't want him figuring out that these three little girls know how to do magic. So they got Mika to teach him how to control their magic, so that he doesn't figure that out. There is also a budding relationship between Mika and one of the other characters. I'm not going to say who it is. I'll let you figure that one out. But it is my first, what I understand to be called the grumpy sunshine trope. Okay, so this is my very first grumpy sunshine trope, and that is actually the main reason why I wanted to check this book out, because I heard that that's the trope that this book follows. And I'm like, I've never heard of this trope. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Grumpy sunshine. You got these two people who one's all happy-go-lucky and the other one's all grumpy. And I just kind of imagine it's basically like Donald and Daisy Duck, so to speak. So I wanted to check that out to see what this trope is all about. And honestly, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think a grumpy sunshine relationship wouldn't actually work out, because it's like the whole opposites attract thing. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. And even at one point, the guy in this relationship, he's like, "Oh, our relationship will never work out because you're happy all the time, and I can't be anything but serious all the time. But we're not meant to be and whatnot." And I kind of agree with him, but at the same time, the relationship kind of worked. But anyway, this was my very first grumpy sunshine. So hey, check that one off my box. And also, this was my first book with with a spicy scene, so check that off my list as well. So there's not much else to say, because like usually when I do my book reviews, I have like I have other thoughts. Like I tell you what the plot is, and then I have other thoughts. I don't really have any other thoughts. I mean, I really did enjoy this book, but I got to check off two different things that weren't really on my bucket list. But hey, two things I got to expand my reading horizons a little bit with a Grumpy Sunshine and my first spicy scene. So, yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed this book. I would definitely recommend it. Check it out. But anyway, that's it for me. So until next time, remember, nothing in life is free except for liking, commenting, and subscribing. See ya.